All right, good morning. Happy Friday. So, reading through Proverbs this morning in verse 12, the Lord said, apply thine heart unto instruction and thine ears to the words of knowledge. And that applying is like directing it towards, putting it to, coming together. It's an action, okay? Apply thine heart unto instruction and thine ears to the words of knowledge. And I got to thinking about how the direction, where we're going, is going to be led by the direction and affections of our heart. And so, like, we ought to ask ourselves questions at times like, what direction am I going? What direction am I going? What am I following after? Who am I surrounding myself with? Where am I? Where am I currently in my life? What's my destination? Because these things can help us to understand and make decisions, right, in our life. Like, if where you're at right now isn't where you desire to be, I mean, that's valid, but you're there for a reason. And you're there because of some sort of direction that you've taken, some sort of application. And maybe it wasn't all your choice or fault, but you're there for a reason. So we ask ourselves those questions like, am I where I want to be? Where do I see this taking me? Like, we got to ask ourselves those questions. There's a lot of verses that God tells us. And here in verse 15, he says, my son, if thine heart be wise, my heart shall rejoice, even mine. It's about our heart. Again, if we apply our heart to wrong instruction, to wrong direction, and to wrong destinations, that's where we're going to end up. But he tells us, like, apply it here. Apply it to wisdom. Apply it to instruction. Apply it to knowledge. In fact, and he's going to tell us to give him our heart. So that's 15. Let's look at 17. Sorry, I didn't have my printer today. All right. Let not thine heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all day long. All right. Who are we with? What are we following? What's that destination? What am I surrounded by? Where am I? Who am I in the midst of? What am I in the midst of? Verse 19 tells us, hear thou, my son, and be wise, and guide thine heart in the way. Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. Okay? There's no other way. Well, actually, there's a lot of ways, but there's no other right way. Verse 23 tells us, buy the truth and sell it not. Also, wisdom and instruction and understanding, right? Apply thine ears to understanding is what he told us. So the words of knowledge. Verse 26, he says, my son, give me thine heart and let thine eyes observe my ways. So that's really the only right way to apply our heart to instruction, is by, asking ourselves, am I where Christ would have me to be? Am I who Christ would have me with? Am I going in the direction that he went? Like, we can look at his life and his word and see what type of person he was and what direction he was going, what he was doing, what he was following after, who we should follow after. He's our perfect example, right? And here's the good thing about coming to the knowledge of, hey, I'm doing something wrong, or this is the wrong direction, is that it's technically a good thing, that realization anyways, because as soon as you realize that that's not where you should be, not who you should be with, not what you should be doing, not what you should follow after, not the direction you should go, you can make the change. You can make the change. You don't have to continue therein. You can easily apply your heart to instruction and to listen to what God has to say and observe with your eyes, to look in his direction, to walk in his direction, to hear what he has to say, to change things up and to apply your heart. Because again, you're going to go where your heart leads you. That direction and affection is going to lead you. So we ought to love the Lord above all else so that we're going in that direction. All right. We ought to apply ourselves to his word. All right. Be blessed.